The National Association of Teachers of Language in College of Education and Polytechnic has held a 27th Annual National Conference with the theme The Convergence of Language, Literature and Socio-Political Development in Nigeria. The event took place at Chief James Onanefe Ibori Auditorium in Otefe Polytechnic Otefe-Oghara, Delta State on Wednesday, the 27th of August 2025, and saw in attendance Deputy Rector of the Polytechnic, Dr. Samuel Ogbogu, representing the Rector of the school, Professor Emmanuel Ufofubiri as the chief host, and Dr. Bright Ohofasa as the host, with Mrs. Geraldine Akbere as co-host. The event also saw Professor Sonny Awefeda as the keynote speaker and Dr. Samuel Enudi as the lead paper presenter, with Dr. Nwokeneme Oyenkashi, the national president of the body, and many more. The event kicked off with a welcome address by the Deputy Rector, where he welcomed and thanked everyone for participating in the event, which should be of much impact to the school. The president of the body, in his welcome address, expressed his gratitude to the management of the institution for hosting the 27th Annual National Conference, and also thanked everyone for coming, and gave a preamble of the National Association of Teachers of Language in Colleges of Education and Polytechnics to much fanfare. The event also saw an insightful discussion and experience for all those who took part in the lectures delivered by the keynote speaker and the lead paper presenter, where they touched all areas of the plaguing factors affecting languages, literature and socio-political development in Nigeria, and the importance of language, literature in the advancement and development of the country. The Deputy Rector of the school, in his interview, commended the keynote speaker and the lead paper presenter for the wonderful lecture they've delivered and how it has gone a long way in leadership.
Bogu, the Deputy Rector of Delta State Polytechnic Otefe-Oghara. You can see that it's a very memorable day here today because of this conference that is taking place in the Department of Arts. And you have heard the keynote speaker, you have heard the lead paper presenter, and particularly you heard what the lead paper presenter said about literature and leadership. That the problem of this country is because most of the leaders are not groomed in the area of literature. That if they think literally, they will be able to address the challenges of the country. So that goes a long way to tell you that you need to have literary knowledge for you to be able to lead the people. And it's very crucial at such a time as this when we're having leadership challenge. So this conference, we will expose it to leaders so that they can go back and know what to do literally, so that they can carry the people they are leading along. So it's so very timely. It's by making policies that has to bring in literary issues. In our educational policies, we have to deliberately put it in our policies so that from the curriculum, the students will understand the reason for literary arts. Now you see, in the Polytechnic, it's compulsory for MBT to say general study courses. You can get those literary courses through the general study courses, and that's why it's compulsory for all students, whether engineering or social sciences. They must all take use of English and those literary courses.
The keynote speaker, Professor Sonny Awefeda, in his lecture and interview, commended the school for their advancements over the years and gave a detailed breakdown on why the language, literature and socio-political development is necessary in institutions in Nigeria at large. He also spoke on the great impact of Nigerian literature globally.
I'm Sonny Awefeda, Professor of African Literature and Dean, Postgraduate School, Delta State University, Abraka. So regarding the theme of the conference, it's a very significant theme, and it is coming at a very good time in the life of Nigeria and Nigerians. Social development is about people, and there's something that is central to human beings or humanity, which is communication. And communication can only manifest with the word, that is in its fullest essence. Another thing central to this has to do with stories. Talking about literature, it comes to life through stories, and it is also about human experience. The story comes before us, it is with us, it also comes after us. Now the question people might ask is, what is the essence of language, literature and national development? There's much to it that the unthinking will not realize. Social development, yes, talk about politics, economics, overall national development, it can only come to bear when you integrate the humanities. That is where you have language and literature. Now, from the aspect of language, Nigeria, a nation of over 500 ethnic nationalities and languages. Our lingua franca is the English language. It's the language of business, language of government, language of education. It is even the language of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And in this locale, it is English. Then literature mirrors human experience. And the Nigerian experience of literature has been quite functional. There has been critique of governance, critique of society. Our literature has been quite cautionary, pointing us in alternative direction. In the colonial era, Nigerian literature, orchestrated by those we call pioneer writers, embedded the creed of cultural nationalism, which was instrumental in the struggle for independence, which eventually came in 1960. The pioneer, the nationalists, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Denis Osadebe, Obafemi Awolowo, Ladoke Akintola, they were writers and journalists. So they championed the cause of our independence. Right now, let me even go back to the 1960s. Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, they charted a new vision for Nigeria, which unfortunately our leaders could not align with. Now, whatever Nigeria is known for globally, our prestige, our fame, is because of our soft power and cultural diplomacy, which is embedded in our literature. Nigerian literature is about the most cosmopolitan globally. Then in the 1980s, some writers emerged, Marxist writers, who charted an alternative path for Nigeria, which again, our leaders were not able to see. In ending this, I think I remember quoting Achebe, his last fictional work, Aunties of the Savannah, where he talked about the story. And in this case, the story is literature. It is a guide. Without the story, without literature, we are blind. We just wander into cactus or fall into a pit. So language and literature are essential for national development. Go to Japan, China, America, all of Europe. They privilege literature. They privilege language. I know the Nigerian government got it wrong when it was allocating 60% to the sciences and 40% to the humanities. You cannot have a balanced development. You cannot advance. You cannot modernize if you do not pay premium to the humanities, which is the domain of language and literature. We are in a polytechnic, the enclave of STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. What are they using teaching them? It is language. And cumulatively, whatever I have in these disciplines, they constitute literature because they are largely expository. They are largely narrative. So I just hope that policymakers, stakeholders, Nigerians generally, will embrace the theme of this subject. Let Nigeria embrace the vision of her writers. The vision is humane. The vision is holistic. The vision is developmental. The vision is humanistic. So I think that is what Nigeria should do at this point in time.
Speaking to Rero TV correspondent Owefe, Mrs. Geraldine Akpere addressed some of the key points of the speaker's lecture on how Nigerians have to go back in imbibing and teaching our indigenous languages to children at home and in schools for growth and development of the nation.
Mrs. Akpere Geraldine, the HOD, that is the head of the Department of Arts, School of General Studies, Delta State Polytechnic Otefe-Oghara, the convener, also known as the co-host for the conference that just took place today, the 27th annual conference of NATELCEP. NATELCEP is the acronym for National Association of Teachers of Languages in Colleges of Education and Polytechnics. Today's theme and the different contributions from the keynote speaker, who has done so well. He has done justice to the theme because he has spoken globally. He has touched all areas, all discipline of education, and then the lead paper presenter has equally done so. The revival of language across the nation, the studies of language and how it will contribute to the development of the country will start from the home. It has to start from the home. If you remember this, the discussion by the keynote speaker, he said we must make use of our language. If we look at the home right now, you will discover that us, the parents, we don't even speak our indigenous language to our children. We need to revive our culture, and by reviving our culture, we must imbibe the relevance of our language by teaching these children the importance of our indigenous language. Especially in this part of the country, the southern part of this country, we the language study practitioners, we have discovered to our dismay that we don't speak our languages to our children. By the time you speak the language to the children will know the culture, and they will know the importance of the interest, the place of Nigeria in the global sphere. The keynote addresser has pointed out that one thing that we have impressed the world about is the place of literary scholars in the world, that the Nigerian artists have taken the foremost position in literature. And that goes to show that is because we have interest in the way literature represents the socio-political realities in our literary act, in our literary works. And it has also shown that most people that do well in language studies are those people that speak their first language at home. This goes to show that there is need for us to go back to our roots, to teach our children and to educate those of our children that are in schools. It is not late at all for them to learn at least something about their language.
Thank you. My name is Rero Henry Akbos, and this is Rero TV. Thank you for watching.